Those are the only 2 degrees I have. I barely made it through high school, and I got to college. And I got my first semester in, and I didn't know, I was really interested in photography. That's what I thought maybe I'd be a combat photojournalist. That's what I wanted to do. I still do photography. But things weren't going so well when I was living in Lewiston, Idaho, trying to go to school. I just couldn't really quite understand what I wanted or how I was able to learn. And one day, in a car accident, it dawned on me that I just didn't want to keep wasting my life. And like, most of my time was sitting on the couch, daydreaming, thinking, putting stuff off till tomorrow, do it tomorrow. And finally one day I just decided I'm gonna go to New York. I moved to New York, $100 and a one-way ticket. That's all I had. 50 of that went to the cab ride. The rest of the 50 I rationed out until I landed a job in a couple days. But I ate a lot of ramen noodles. Cheese and mustard sandwiches were a delicacy for me for a long time. At McDonald's, and I remember there was this little pizza parlor on the corner where I lived that had 2 slices and a Coke for $2.50. I remember eating that a lot. So I started finding work, and I guess what kept me going was that I had this idea that while I was a kid, I wanted to see the world. I wanted to experience new things. I wanted to see what else was out there because I didn't think I had much time. In my mind, I knew that in life, it goes by really fast, and then you blink and it's gone. And I wanted to make sure that I could capture those moments and try to be able to go out there and see as much as I could see in this lifetime. So I got there, I studied, and I knew that if I wanted to be an actor, if I wanted to be someone good at what I do, I better study. So I just want to go up on there and just show up and not be able to do my job correctly. So I found some really good acting teachers who taught me basically how to act. And I was horrible in the beginning, horrible. I did my first play in New York, and the reviews came out I should quit acting. Told me I was horrible, self-doubting, and yeah, I should probably just drop out acting altogether. But Joseph, I still had this belief that I could do this. I really thought, you know, I can do this. I just need a little time, and I knew that I was just kind of meant to do this. So I took more classes and I studied. The best thing that my teacher taught me was to shut up and listen. Because I can't do that. I never understood how to do that. But while I was in class studying my scenes and learning Shakespeare and Sam Shepard and working with people and working with other actors who were actually working, I think I was the youngest guy there. All these guys have been working on TV series and stuff. I was very intimidating. Plus, I'd never really been anywhere. You know, I've never been to New York City. I just up and thought, you know, I'm just going to move there. And I'll tell you what, learning to just let my ego go and just actually listen and open my mind, it's taught me so many things. Did I use all those tools I use today? And lo and behold, you know, I also worked. I was a garbage man. I was a bartender. I was a waiter. I got fired from waiting tables so many times. I would just live paycheck to paycheck. I was a horrible waiter, really horrible. I'd mess your order up in seconds. If you ordered an iced tea, I'd bring you a Coke. That's how bad I was. And then, somewhere along the way, I did this play, and this casting director heard of me, or saw me, or someone saw me, and they decided to put me in this movie called Skins with Chris Eyre. Chris Eyre and Renee Haynes really helped launch my career, and they believed in me, but I had to show up. So I had to keep showing up to be able to to be present and to do my job. I continued classes, and you know, what's funny is that I always had this drive of becoming successful. Not because, you know, it wasn't an ego thing, I just wanted to do it. Because I think so many people, you have so many barriers that are in front of you in life. You know, you have ups and downs, and you know, it's a sweet with the sour. When some days you're riding high, but you know you're going to be riding low. And those are the times that you really, really have to dig in deep. So I did 2 films. I did Dreamkeeper and Into the West. And I'll tell you, When I came back from Dreamkeeper, the limo guy took me, he drove me. He was going to take my apartment, but I had talked to my catering boss, and he wanted to know if I could work that night. So I went straight from the limo, all decked out, went right into in the back of the catering service and started hauling garbage. And I thought, this is going to help build character. It'll help me achieve what I need to do for when I get my job. Well, somewhere along the way, and I was always this person that kept his lines memorized and showed up and hit my mark and really studied and learned as much as I possibly could. But somewhere along the way, things went this way. As in life, you know, life goes every which way. And all of a sudden, there's a disease that came over me. And I'd always been struggling with it, but I never really quite acknowledged it. You know, and that disease was drugs and alcohol. And it took me. It took me to places that, you know, I never thought I'd go. So after Into the West, I lost everything. Everything. I was living, when I first began a career, and I was living in a $5,000 apartment. You know, I had the cool girlfriend, doorman, all that stuff. I thought I was riding pretty high, you know. I had a contract with ABC. Well, within a year and a half of that, I lost it all until I was in like this urine-soaked mattress, homeless pretty much, dirty. I mean, you could smell me like a mile away. And I decided to get help. And that's where the rehabilitation certificate came from. I asked for help and I got it. Something told me when you need help, ask for it. There's no shame in asking for help in anything. And I got it, and something happened. I was broke. I was completely broke. I had to go back to catering, bartending, while trying to maintain my sobriety. But it very humbled me. I remember coming out of there just thankful that I had orange juice in my teeth, in my shoes, I had clothes, I had enough money just to pay my rent and maybe have sandwiches. So I was very humbled at that. And then about 3 or 4 months down the road, I got invited to, and I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, I thought maybe that was it. You know, acting is done. You know, I had my run. It was, you know, it was cool, it was fun. I blew a lot of chances. And I thought that was it for me. Well, I get invited to this Sundance. They want to know if I want to come up and, you know, help haul rocks and like chop wood and stuff. And I'd always been surrounded by it when I was a kid. But I knew that from watching and observing the people that walk that red road, it's a huge sacrifice. And it's a very tough life. And it's something I just wasn't ready to look or acknowledge yet. I participated only in so much. So I went up there, went to Poplar, Montana. I was helping out, you know, just being humble, you know, watching them, you know, getting the rocks going, the fire, helping the Sundancers out when I could, if they, you know, needed pass messages or something. And at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the ceremony, everyone, like, they break and they go off, and we're allowed to go to the tree and pray. So I went up there to that tree, and I put my hand on it, and I remember thinking, you know, Takashila, whatever you want me to do, whatever you want my life to go, just help me. If you want me to quit acting, I'll quit acting. But you need to help me, because I didn't get sober to be a bartender. It's just an oxymoron to me. So please help me, find me, give me a direction. And I left, and I felt very peace at ease. You know, I got back into my spirituality. I began to go, you know, appreciate my culture, and to really look at it as a gift and a tool that I'm grateful to have, and still have to this day. And about a year later, I pretty much quit acting. I quit it all, quit the business, because I couldn't do it. A year later, Renee Haynes calls me up and says, well, we got this one last audition. We got an audition for you. Why don't you want to come in? I was like, I don't know, you know, I just can't take rejection anymore. I've kind of moved on. So, well, I think you really want to do this one. Okay, so I went in. I auditioned. They called me back. I auditioned some more. Later on, I found out what the project was. And then I was really surprised. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to really work at this one. So it took me like 3 or 4 times to go back. Finally, I got the part. I got the part, and I remember hitting my knees and praying to God, thanking them, thanking Takashila for giving me this gift. And I made a promise there that whatever you want, whatever you need, I'll be of service to you. I'll be of service. Whatever you need for me to get back to the people, to anyone, it doesn't matter. I'm of service to you. And so I ended up flying up to Vancouver. Now my sober day is March 5th. I had 5 years last March without a drink or a drug. And here's the spooky part. Here's the weird. This is the part that, you know, our prayers and our traditions are very powerful. I do believe that. We are very beautiful people. Our ceremonies are really powerful. Well, I got the Twilight movie and I signed the contract on March 5th for my first year sobriety, on that day. And I was amazed by that. So nowadays, I worked really hard. You know, I understand sacrifice. I understand falling down, getting back up. I understand when you have no food sometimes, when you're broke, when all you see is that little light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you're going to get there. But there's all this other stuff around you. You know, I get that. But those are the moments you find who you are and the strength you have. You know, and in this moment, you guys have graduated. You know, I can imagine the sacrifices you've had to do and the things you've had to study and sit down and the discipline. You know, I'm very proud and honored to be able to talk to you. And all these people are. They're very honored. They're very proud of you. And also acknowledge the people who are not here. You know, the ones who passed on. The ones who are looking down on you and are very proud of you. Who've watched you rise and graduate with honors and degrees. You know, it takes a lot of work. And so after that, I spend most of my time doing service. If I'm not making films, if I'm not trying to produce films or something, I do a service. I do believe in giving back. I do believe when you find that something and you love it and it's a gift, you know, and what you do for a living or you do for a job, if you love doing that, you know, you're getting paid just to have fun, to help out, you know, and I acknowledge, and also to give back to the people, to give back to your community. Even if it's just helping an elder or just helping someone out, or even smiling. If you just smile at someone and ask them how's their day, you know, how much that means to people. You know, I fill my day with those things. Because honestly, you know, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here. Really. I know that. And I acknowledge that. And statistically, all of us not supposed to be here. But, you know, look at what we've done in the past 50, 60 years. We have our own colleges. You know, we have our own educators, our own doctors. You know, we have a place in this community, in this world. And we can shift it. We can shift those systems. It takes a while, but you think about where your grandparents were and where you're at now. You know, acknowledge that. Because we've come a long way. A long way. So, like I said, I'm very honored to be here. Very honored speaking with you. Some of the things that, give me a second. Oh, never mind. My allergies are all bad. What I do love about giving back and being of service is be able to help at least, just try to talk to someone, maybe there's a kid out there, or just maybe a little inspiration, help them help change the world. Because it can happen. You can move things just by one idea, one thought. I always like what Bruce Lee said. You know, you take a pebble and drop it in water, and the ripple effect. So that's what I do. Between films, what I like to do is make movies and films that help break down stereotypes of Native Americans and help fight off what the pop culture and the propaganda did to us. And we're still fighting it. And it's getting better, it really is. But like I said, it's hard work and it's a lot of sacrifice. But I tell you what, the reward is the best part. The best part when kids come up and like they know who you are and they're proud that a Native American is in this film. You know, we don't have too many Native American guys out there or women out there. There's a very few of us that actually, you know, do service and try to help our people out. But I want to thank you, and thank you for very honored, and you should be proud of yourselves and give yourselves a hand for graduating today, because this is your moment. It's really hard to be here. Thank you.